body bags where horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer, and this evening I decided to take a trip into the the month of Halloween. Not been watching too many Halloween kind of themed movies so far, concentrating on my 2020 watches. So this year, this week, I decided to take a look at the indie kind of family horror film, Halloween Spookies, directed by a combination of Dave Parker, Mr. Parker, and Dustin Mills. So I think a huge amount of work was done by the two of those. I guess the crew is fairly small with these things, as they are like the low budget indie. But this is really well done. It's this is aimed at like the younger people, like a family horror movie. It's actually stated at the start. I caught this on YouTube, and it's stated at the start, and like how it's all kind of put together. It's well done. It's obviously being an adult, I was highly into it the whole way through. It didn't feel too kiddie. It managed to hit that right balance of it's going to work for a younger audience, and it worked well for an older audience. And yeah, this movie felt bigger than probably what the budget allowed. It tends to be that the smaller movies have to fight for every single pence, every single cent, every single euro, every dollar. They have to fight and fight and fight. And straight from the offset, the animation for this and the theme music at the start, it's like it's punching above its weight of what they're able to do with their money, I think. And I mean punching above their weight, it's like it doesn't feel like it feels actually like there's a fair bit of production with this. Kind of there's a few different, like each of the wraparound and the segments, they all have a slightly different look and kind of feel to it, and these little tiny splashes of polish that goes on. There's like little couple of little bits of CGI, but it's done really well, and it's great that it's on there. It fits. It fits really well. Anyway, got a couple of notes on here, so just have a quick look down. Sorry, and also I did want to point out the acting on this. Like it's quite a high level. It's really difficult, because I think like many people, as soon as they hear like low budget and indie, they discount it straight away. They have no interest. It's like, I just want to see my big blockbuster. And people like that just miss out so much, because there's so much like heart and passion and effort and everything that goes into these smaller movies. But you have a small team and a small crew, and everything feels so intricately tied together. And it's like when you see these big budget films, you just kind of, the majority of the many hundreds of people working on them, they only see a tiny cog, and it's only a few people that see the overall production. And it's kind of, not that it feels a bit cold when it's done like that, that's just how these things are done. But Dustin Mills and Dave Parker with this, they oversee like every single bit of detail, no doubt, like whatever it is. And you can kind of feel that when you're watching it, and you can see it, and it comes through. And anyway, let's go into the film. So it's like it's an anthology. So we have the wraparound and we have the three segments. So the wraparound, we follow these, the trick-or-treating. You're like this kid going on trick-or-treat on Halloween. And we come to these two witches, and they're kind of cooking up this, you don't know what they're cooking. It's obviously something that they're doing. And they're witch's cauldron, and they're dropping in like bat wings and cattails and stuff like that. And they're talking about like trying to scare the kid who's us, telling these like little riddles and stories and stuff. and they go into each section quite nicely. So our first one is the babysitter, and she is with these two kids going trick-or-treating. She's a friend of the parents. The parents are going out, so she goes back to the house. They're going to watch a movie, and I love it. It's some like kid Transylvania animation thing, or like, what was it, Night of the Living Dead, and the kids are like, Night of the Living Dead. It's like, that's pretty cool. So like that, they're watching that, and the parents are like, when it's cold, she's going to put the heating on upstairs, or like grab blankets in the loft, sort of thing. And she's making a comment, who has blankets in the loft? The babysitter. And she turns around and sees this like clown, freaks her out a bit. She hates clowns. The kids hate clowns. Goes downstairs, getting some stuff from the fridge, opening the freezer door, getting some ice cream. And she gets a call from the mum, just checking how things are, and she's like, yeah, it's all good apart from the clown, it freaked me out. And she's like, what clown? We don't have a clown. The kids have been saying they've seen a clown the whole time. She's like, get the kids out of the house. And so she's on the phone, suddenly she sees like the freezer doors open, and there's these two legs, clown legs. You know, closes the door and says clown there, and he's like, you know, try and kill her. It's got all these knives. She beats the crap out of him basically with his frying pan. Nice and short and sweet. I really like, the clown looks cool actually. It's got like this freaky mask, but obviously when it's you're trying to kind of get the kids into this, a bit of a kids movie, it's not over the top freaky, but it's just enough kind of eerie freaky, like being a clown how it is. It's got a really funny voice and laugh. I think it might be Dustin Mills that did that one. No, I'm not so sure. I mean, like, yeah, he directed, but he also did the voice of the clown. Yeah, I think the first one is Dustin Mills, the second one is Dustin Mills, the third one is Dave Parker, and the wraparound is Dave Parker. Something like that. Apologise if I got that wrong, it could be. But anyway, we kind of go to the wraparound again. They're doing some more like a little bit more talking, getting a bit like more tension going on, putting some more things into the cauldron, and then we go through into the messenger. This one was pretty cool. It's like this black and white kind of film. Yeah, the first one had this nice kind of like colours, slight saturation on all the colours, and all that, the reds and the greens pop, but it's kind of quite nicely done. And like the wraparound, the witches, all these like greens and blues and purples, they're all lit up really nicely. So the second segment is like the messenger. Like I said, this is black and white. It's quite like funny. You got this guy like he's like obviously an author trying to write. He's having no fun. He's just not doing any good. He's going to his fridge and all the flies, because I don't know, he's just terrible, not looking after himself. Opens his cupboard, all these flies and stuff. He's obviously not looking after himself in life. He's just kind of totally into this book, and it's like kind of taken over. Anyway, like he hears this like sound upstairs, and he thinks it's this like giant squirrel or something, and he's got this broom ready. He's like creeping around the corner, and you get this gyrating guy with all this music in this one room, and he goes to him and he like disappears. It's like, huh, who's that? And then suddenly he's right next to him. And this one is like Mr. Parker, who's actually, what's the guy's name, McDaniels or something like that. But anyway, he's like this zombie ghoul sort of thing, and he's like a messenger of death. And he's basically saying, like, this guy he's gonna die basically, and he kind of like plays out the message, like how he tells him is like kind of doing this acting on stage, and basically tells him he like chokes on this carrot, and that's how he dies. I really like about this ghoul, it's like it's really channeling his kind of inner Beetlejuice, kind of Michael Keaton with it. It fits and works really well, because it's kind of, I think it's quite difficult to do something like this with the kids thing. You want to be like creepy, so you got to bring the humour kind of at that kind of balance level, and it works really well with this segment, and especially this one character, and it's acted really well, put together really nicely. And that's just basically it. It's just saying that you're not going anywhere, you have unfinished business, you need to finish your story. And then he has his story, he's going to write it on this Jimmy McDaniel or whoever this ghoul is. Like, he died like 60 years ago or something as like a teenager, and his job now kind of is roaming through life, but obviously being dead, through the world, and like being a messenger of death, telling people how they're going to die. That sounds quite downer for a kids thing, but how it's done really funny, it's done really well. And then we go back to the wraparound, a bit more witches, a bit more cauldron, and then we get to the third one, which is the familiars, which is pretty funny. So you have this guy, he wants to be in this gang, and these gangs, they're like dicks basically, and they're like, fine, go and summon this demon, that's what we want, here's a book, go and do it, as you do. And he goes back to his mate's house, and his mates, these guys are dicks, they just bullied us for years. Tell you what, let's get these demons and we'll get the demons to attack them. And this is where like some of the budget thing comes in. You have these three really cool looking puppets. They really remind me of stuff from like the Mighty Boosh sort of thing. It's like how there's like the third series of Mighty Boosh, there's this like kind of freaky killer cat thing, and the first one you see is there's like this cat, and then there's like this pumpkin head, and then this demon thing, I'm not quite sure what it is. Anyway, like, they release these demons, they don't quite realise, they kind of go to sleep, and these demons come like later in the night and like run off and start causing havoc. Basically they're looking for these three guys. So it comes around to Halloween night, and this gang that this guy wants to be a member of, these three dicks, they're going to trick or treat him, but they're just tricking everyone, and they kind of, these demons catch up with them, and they're like these like miniature puppet demon things. They're really cool. So they dispatch and kill the first one, they get to the second guy, and the third guy is hiding out in this kind of party, this Halloween party, and basically it's like kid-friendly carnage, like everyone is like killed in this whole thing, and then these demons are chasing this one guy, and the other two are like, oh no, what have we done, this is really bad. So they summon another demon, I think this is like a bat or something, and this is the one that tells them how to get these other demons and banish them back to hell. And they get there just not quite quick enough to save this last like gang member, this dead guy. But anyway, they banish them back to hell, and then we go back to our witches, and they're like almost finished with their kind of cauldron, whatever it is they're making, and the last ingredient is you. I really quite like that. And then that's the end of it. This, like, I really enjoyed this, because I kind of wasn't expecting it. Now it's like, I watch quite a lot of like low budget, like horror, exploitation, stuff like that, and it's not the budget thing, it's the fact that this was so kid friendly and like very much made for small kids, but it was still so entertaining. It's kind of, I kind of liken it to that balance that was really kind of other end left field sort of thing, but the Pixar movies, you know, it's like kids love them, but they're very much for adults as well. There's multiple levels on these films, and it's kind of like how this one felt. It's like I could see kids really enjoying this, but as an adult, like, I really enjoyed it. It flew by. It's like 70 minutes long or something like that, and it completely flew by. I was like, wow, that was super quick. I wasn't sure what to expect. I like the last one I saw of Dave Parker's was like, what's it, Slimy Little Bastards. Really enjoyed that one. I was like, yeah, I was hoping that this kind of would be the same, but then being the, like I said, for the younger generation, I wasn't so sure, but really entertained by this, and I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube, so it's like Halloween Spookies, so you can watch it, no problem. Very easy to watch, and I really recommend it. It's a really polished, well put together film, and it's very entertaining, and I think I've kind of spoken enough now. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please check out the film. And yeah, we're about to start our theme week in body bags, so I won't tell you what that is. You need to tune in tomorrow and see what we're planning. Anyway, hope you have a nice evening, and I'll catch you guys next Sunday. Bye bye.